Do you guys want to hear something completely insane? There is a company that made $450 billion, grew by 15%, and made the founder $100 billion within a single day, which made this very guy crush Elon Musk by 50 billion. To put that into perspective, that's more money moved within a 24-hour window than the GDP of Finland twice. That is the yearly turnaround of Amazon moved into the bank account of a single company that a month ago nobody even heard of, within just 24 hours. Okay, the thumbnail probably gave it away. The company we're talking about today is Orcale, and maybe I was a bit too excited when I said that a month ago nobody knew this company, because Orcale was already big, Ellison was already a billionaire, but still like impressive results. And I want to look deeper today into how the fuck did they actually do that? How did they make these sums of money in this short amount of time? And so I, owning a software company and building professional AI myself, wanted to know how on God's earth did they manage to do all that within a single day? And what can I and you do to grow our companies, or software companies in specific, to that same scale, at least relatively? So I spent too much tokens to count on deep research, sat myself down weeks and weeks on end to study this company and this founder and their strategies and how they actually did that since the 1980s, which led to countless sleepless nights, only that I can now stand in front of you to proudly announce that I have found 7 strategies and 4 phases that Orcale went through and that we can copy to grow our companies to that same scale, relatively. And the awesome thing is that we don't even need to sell our souls to the devil. I hope at least. And I'm not going to waste your time. Strategy number 1 is becoming the landlord. And to understand the strategy, we first need to discuss what Orcale even is. So, long time ago, Orcale developed by being another cloud and software provider, like AWS, like basically all of the cloud and software providers you can name. But then in 2016, Orcale was bleeding market share to AWS. They owned 32% of the whole cloud market, and Orcale only owned 2%. So Larry Ellison saw himself to make a really mandatory decision at this point. Would you go more head-to-head and compete with AWS and all of these big developed players already? Or would there something else he could do? And he figured that the next big thing probably was AI in 2016. So he developed and started planning so that in 2022, so 6 years later, they were able to make the jump from we provide cloud and software in general to companies to, okay, we're only gonna make this for AI and for AI research labs and for AI development and so on. Because you see, these AI developers like OpenAI and all of the other ones coming up in 2022 had a very big problem. They had their AIs and they had their models, but they didn't really have the infrastructure to run it on. They were bleeding out computing power and spending, still to this day are, but were then spending millions and losing so much just on the computing power required to have their models run. And they were getting all of the hardware from NVIDIA. NVIDIA was selling their GPUs left and right, and to this day NVIDIA is the king of GPUs, like the underlying ground model. But there was a step above that, like the infrastructure, the cloud, the software that was needed to run all of these models on. And that was the jump that Orcale made. They are the cloud provider, the default model for all of these, or the default software, the default cloud for all of these models to run on. So in short, Larry Ellison built the infrastructure that AI models were dependent on. And in 2024, this strategy has made them we said it already, $450 billion in contract backlog. So for anyone who doesn't know what backlog means, they get the contract which says, here's work for you, here's a task for you, that if you do that, you get $450 billion. So they don't have that money yet, but they are about to earn it once they've done that project. And since that point, Orcale has made deals, which are inside this backlog, with NVIDIA, with OpenAI, with xAI, with SoftBank, and much more. And the genius behind of this was pretty simple. While competitors were fighting over which AI model is the best, which can do the most, which has the lowest computing power, and so on, Oracle quickly became indispensable to all of them. So saying it in Ellison's words, we're not trying to build the best AI model, we're trying to build the place where the best AI models are trained. They committed over $3 billion annually in data center leases. They built 162 data centers globally with GPU superclusters, specifically for AI workouts. They shifted from a 2 to 3 year lease to a 10+ year commitments to secure all of this capacity. And they positioned Oracle as the picks and shovels supplier to the AI gold rush. Okay, big numbers. Here's the lessons I took from that. First off, the really big lesson is niche down. The riches are in the niches. You probably know the saying, but there really is meaning behind it. Oracle was and probably still is just a cloud provider. They do nothing really different than AWS and all the other cloud providers. But they niched down. They were saying, okay, we're now only doing the cloud for AI, which seems a bit counterintuitive to the untrained ear, because it sounds like, okay, they cut it down their market. They now have a smaller market out of the we serve everyone, right? But what as well came with that is that everyone who was building AI, when they were choosing who do we take as our cloud provider, who do we build all of this infrastructure on, they were seeing, okay, we got AWS who's doing this all in general, we got some more, they're serving basically all. Oh, we got Oracle, and Oracle is building this specifically for us. We're gonna go with Oracle. And as AI grew and became more valuable, more and more companies of AI chose to go with Oracle, which made Oracle a monopoly in this very small market of AI. So niching down made them more money than if they would just compete head-on with everyone else. And I think the same lesson is applicable to you and me and us normal people, right? Niching down, not serving everyone, even if we could, will make us more money because the people we choose to target will go with us over everyone else just because we're specifically targeting them. And now you might be saying, okay, but yeah, I developed a software which can help more people. Why shouldn't I target more people? The thing is, your clients don't know. Your clients don't know if the solution that you provide them can be used for everyone else as well. They have no idea. If they knew about this stuff, then they wouldn't need you, they would do it themselves. But they have no idea about it. So they need someone like you to build the software or to provide the software for them. And this means that you can tell them this software was developed specifically for you, for the size of your business, for the character of your business. It was specifically designed for you. And they're going to spend much more on that very thing than they would if you would just target everyone. I mean, think about it. If you go into the supermarket because you need a shampoo, you are a man, you have blonde hair, you are in your 20s or in your, let's say you're in your 30s, and you're 6 feet, and you go into the supermarket and there's all of these different shampoos. This shampoo can do it all. They're for women and babies and elderly people, and they're for dogs as well. They're for everything. And then there's a shampoo bottle that says, okay, this shampoo is specifically for males who are 6 foot, have blonde hair, are in their 30s. Which shampoo are you gonna pick as the blonde 6 foot in their 30s male? Probably the latter. And you're probably as well gonna be willing to spend a lot more on that shampoo than on everything else because it is specifically targeted to you. And even if the shampoo in this is exactly the same as in every other bottle on that shelf, you would never notice. Okay? So the same thing is what Oracle did. They niched down to that one. They only got these, only got these AI companies. They were willing to pay them more than everyone else for basically the same solution. And so they made a lot more. This is lesson one, the bigger lesson here. So then, in 2017, Oracle faced a new problem. Customers were using their databases and applications, but buying AI tools from other vendors. Steve Miranda, Oracle's VP of Applications Development, realized they were solving this backwards. Instead of building standalone AI products, Oracle decided to embed over 200 AI capabilities directly into Oracle Fusion applications. By 2024, they developed 50 plus AI agents that didn't just assist with work, but actually became essential to complementing it. The basic strategy was identifying the most critical business workflows and that customers couldn't afford to break, then make AI so integral to those processes that removing Oracle would mean re-engineering entire business operations. For example, at Hearst Corporation, Oracle's AI agents now handle 95% of invoicing matching automatically, up from 70% manual matching. Automatically propose earlier payment discounts and have saved the company, quote, hundreds of thousands in costs. This made Oracle mission critical. So in short, they embedded AI into end-to-end business workflows and not just individual tasks. They built AI agents that collaborate with each other to build a whole system across departments. They made AI features learn from customer-specific data over time. They also integrated AI so deeply that removing it would break core business processes. The smaller lesson specifically for software companies is if you are targeting any clients and your software is something that they can build on, that they can use as the fundamental, as the ground bricks of what they're building, that's really valuable. If they need you as the ground floor to build the building of their business, metaphorically speaking, then you can demand a lot of money. You are necessary to them because they're building on you, and you can't be taken away from them, which is really powerful in business if there's high switching cost. Switching cost means that I am with this option, how much cost of money, time, effort, sacrifice, whatever, would I need to spend to switch to another option? The more switching cost you have for your business, the better. And if you are the foundational model, then there's so much switching cost that nobody's ever going to skip and you can raise your prices and stuff. That's the second lesson. In 2018, Oracle's database team noticed something very important. AI companies were using separate vector databases alongside traditional databases, which created complexity and a lot of data silos. And here, Larry Ellison, in his genius, saw an opportunity. So, Oracle made a very bold decision. They would integrate vector search natively into Oracle databases. So by September 2023, Oracle became the first major database vendor to offer built-in vector capabilities without requiring separate infrastructure. The breakthrough came with Oracle Select AI, launched in 2023. Instead of forcing customers to choose between business data and AI data, Oracle let them query both using natural language. A customer could ask, show me deals similar to the Microsoft contract, and get results that combine CRM data with semantic similarity, all from one database query. By 2024, companies using Oracle's integrated vector database reported 70% reduction in AI project complexity and 50% faster time to deployment for AI applications. So, in short, Oracle integrated vector search directly into the existing database they already had instead of building more separate systems, as they saw this to be a problem that their customers were facing with other companies. They created Select AI to allow natural language queries across structured vector data. They eliminated the need for data movement between systems, and they provided single console management for traditional and AI data. I think the lesson here is as simple as it is genius. Seeing the problems and issues your customers are facing with your competitors to like, oh, we need to have two providers for our databases, one for the normal ones, and then we need one for the vector databases. And seeing this problem that they need two, and then combining this into your product and saying, hey, this problem that you have with them, you don't have that with us. As simple and as primary as it is genius. So I thought about how I could implement this in my business, or how you could in general implement this in your business and see, okay, I'm gonna make an all-in-one solution for this one problem so that not only am I solving just one part of the problem, but the entire problem. And so for my business, this was like this. Like I sell AI and basically an AI system which automates the entire customer support of a company. It answers all of the questions that come in from staff and leads and so on, and helps with the problems of the customers and staff, right? And I was starting, when I read the story, I was only selling like chatbots to like write little AI icons that you put onto your website, and then when someone is on the website, they load up this thing and they can ask the question about the company. And then I read about the story and I took the lesson from it to build the all-in-one solution for it. Because what I saw with my competitors, what they were selling as well AI chatbots, but then this was not the whole customer service, because still leads and stuff were calling them up via telephone, or they were writing them emails, or they were writing them on social media. So I made the chatbot and I developed the chatbot, and even though it took a lot of work, I managed to do it that this chatbot could reliably answer via telephone and via email as well. The same chatbot, so you'd only have to train it once, but it could answer across all of these channels. So this was one. And then I wanted to go to the next step, but then I read through the story again and I realized I could do something more. Because the problem is when you automate something, you lose the data. The data, it's now automated. It's now the data from that is basically gone. So with my finally developed system, as I thought, the companies and my clients weren't able to see the data. Okay, what questions have been asked? What impact did this really make? And so I sat down, I worked a lot more, and I came to the solution that the system now is able to collect the data. It says like, how many leads did we collect? How many questions did we answer? What was the most asked question this month or this week? And it's able to save the data and send it to the customer, and they can ask questions about, hey, I have this new feature. How many times was asked about that or stuff, right? So now I have this all-in-one solution that you can't find anything more to take away from or to put onto, because the entire customer support with that is done, and you don't need to worry about having any left open problems or losing data from your customer support. It's an all-in-one solution. So this is the general lesson. By the way, if you want to have a free chatbot or anything of this, then first link in the video description, it's my free group and you could join and you will get a free chatbot and a tutorial and stuff, and no one cares. On with the video. The lesson here is to build the all-in-one solution and to make it good, so that for no reason someone should be able to say, okay, I've solved 80% of my problem here, I still need another provider. You want to have it done all within your ecosystem, all within your space. Imagine if Apple wouldn't save all of the operating system and cell phone media problems like in one system. If they're doing like, okay, we're selling phones, and then if I wanted to connect my phone with a PC, I would still need a Windows PC. They have all that in one. They have the Mac, they have the AirPods, so that you can be entirely in this Apple ecosystem. And Oracle is the same for companies and for cloud solutions. Any AI company that is working with them has the entire solution to their problem within Oracle. They don't need to choose anything else for this problem. So whatever problem, and I mean not whatever customer you're serving, solve all of the problems, but whatever problem you're serving, solve it entirely. Not just part of it, solve it entirely. With your product, with your software. By the way, if you found this valuable so far, we're only 3 lessons deep, and there's 4 more lessons and the 4 phases that every software company can use to grow. So if you found this valuable already, imagine how much more value there is along the line. And as well, you can subscribe if you want to, so that you don't miss more of this information, because I will try and pump more lessons out of these big companies so that we can learn from the best and the biggest and grow ourselves as well to the best and the biggest. So if you want to learn more and about other companies or other people as well, then you can subscribe right now. I'm very much appreciating that. September 2024 marked one of the most audacious announcements in tech history. During Oracle's Q1 earnings call, Larry Ellison casually mentioned that Oracle had building permits for 3 small modular nuclear reactors to power a gigawatt-scale data center. Quote, "Let me say something that's going to sound really bizarre. We're in the middle of designing a data center that's north of a gigawatt, and they've already got building permits for 3 nuclear reactors." This announcement wasn't just about power. It was about signaling ultimate commitment to reliability. Oracle was planning to build infrastructure that could run AI workloads with nuclear-grade reliability for decades. This extreme infrastructure vision directly enabled Oracle's $300 billion deal with OpenAI Stargate project, because only Oracle could credibly commit to the massive long-term infrastructure requirement needed for frontier AI development. And the lesson here is be extremely reliable. If you can think about like Alex Hormozi, right? Alex Hormozi's value equation. The dream outcome times the likelihood of achievement divided by effort and sacrifice times time delay This is about the likelihood of achievement and effort and sacrifice part. Because with investing so much into nuclear reactors and all of this reliability, they maxed out the likelihood of achievement. So the likelihood that anyone who is choosing to be a client of theirs is going to achieve their goal, no matter how big it is. They max out that and they minimize the effort and sacrifice, because we're not going to fail. No matter what project you have, no matter how big you dream, we can do this because we have 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 nuclear reactors. So we have all of the processing power you need to build whatever project here. And for the big players, like OpenAI, like maybe XAI as well, for these big players, Anthropic, so on, for these big players, having reliability is extremely important. It's a competitive advantage as well, because someone who's not going with Oracle and doesn't have this reliability in their partner for all of this cloud and infrastructure that they need, they don't have this reliability and they crash. Then in the time, they need to find a new provider for all of the infrastructure. Like anyone who already went with Oracle is miles ahead. So AI companies cannot allow themselves to go with a partner that is unreliable. And so even if they spend a lot of money on these nuclear reactors and it may not pay off right now, it's going to pay off over the long haul. Because let's be honest, if you could go with a company who has 3 nuclear reactors to ensure that your project happens, it sounds cool enough to just go with that company because they have 3 nuclear reactors, compared to someone who doesn't have 1 or who has only 1 or only 2. Reliable is really, really big, especially in software. So if your software isn't extremely reliable for your clients, sometimes it crashes down, sometimes here's a problem. I don't want to say you cannot allow yourself that because obviously problems happen, but you shouldn't allow yourself that, and you should make any investment to make your software super reliable so that over time it cannot fail, and anyone who chooses to go with you knows, here I'm safe. Nothing can happen to me. It cannot fail. Now, I did this for me as well, right? I'm building AI and I read the story and I thought, okay, how can I make it super reliable that this doesn't fail? First off, I changed something about my offer. So I now offer a money back guarantee. So in case they don't feel secure or they don't love it, they get all of their money back, no questions asked, so that there's basically no problem that they're going to lose something. That is one thing. And then on the other side, I made sure to, in the AI I built, I have 3 fallbacks. So if the AI doesn't find the correct answer on the first try, there's 2 more tries. So these 3 fallbacks are my equivalent to the 3 nuclear reactors. So that if the AI doesn't find the answer once, it can look 3 more times deeper to actually find that answer. And then after that, if it hasn't found the answer, it's just going to give it off to a human. So worst case, it doesn't find the answer. Still, the client would be put off hands and the problem still will be solved just manually by a human. So even if the system I have built fails, the project cannot fail, because worst case, we're just giving it to a human. This was my way of making this super reliable. If the system fails, the project still is not going to fail because we're just going to give it to a human. And I encourage you to, whatever software you're selling, think really through it. What are all of the things that can happen? And how do we ensure that they never happen? Like, get rid of the known unknowns, right? You have this quadrant, you have known unknowns, unknown unknowns, unknown knowns, and known knowns. So the things that you know them, the things that you don't know them, the things where you don't know that you know them, and the things where you don't know that you don't know them. The worst to be in is that you don't know that you don't know them, and the best to be in is that you know them. So all of the things that you know how to solve the problems, you're fine on that. The things where you know that you don't know how to solve those problems, solve that, bring all of that over to the first one. And the stuff where you don't know that you know them, you will be fine about that as well. But you want to minimize the you don't know that you don't know them. And there will always be things where you don't know that you don't know them. I'm saying a lot of no here, but you get the point. The unknown unknowns, you don't know they exist. You don't even know that you don't know they exist. They're dangerous and you want to minimize them. But you know about the things that you don't know about. right? So the things you know that you don't know them, minimize them, pull all of them into the quadrant of you know that you know them and you know that you can solve them. I hope I made this clear. I hope you get the point. Thinking through what risk can happen and then minimizing that is what I'm trying to say. For years, Oracle and AWS were bitter rivals. Oracle's database competed with AWS RDS, and Ellison regularly criticized Amazon's cloud strategy. But in September 2024, something unpredictable happened. Larry Ellison shared the stage with AWS CEO Matt Gorman at Oracle Cloud World. The announcement was shocking. Oracle database at AWS would put Oracle's infrastructure directly inside AWS data centers alongside similar partnerships with Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure. Instead of fighting the hyperscalers, Oracle decided to partner with all of them. The strategy was brilliant. Customers no longer had to choose between Oracle's database capabilities and their preferred cloud provider. Oracle eliminated the biggest barrier to adoption while expanding their addressable market 3x overnight. By early 2025, Oracle's multi-cloud partnerships were generating $500 million in quarterly revenue with 27% growth rates that outpaced single cloud competitors. Okay, remember how we said earlier that you should see what other companies are doing wrong and then try and steal that from them and just do it better? This lesson still applies. I think what we can learn from them here is to use affiliates. If there is companies or people or anyone who's targeting the exact same clients as you are, whether they're selling the same service that you are, or whether they're selling a different service to the same clients, you should definitely partner up with them, make an affiliate partnership with them so that they send clients of theirs over to you and get a bonus for that, and you send your clients over to them and get a bonus for that. Make these partnerships and make the deals on that ridiculous, because the things you want are clients. If you get the clients in, you can sell them, you can upsell them, you can expand their lifetime with you. You just need to get these clients. And if you know that there's people who still do not like you or who still are not going with you because they like that other company better, who's providing basically the same things as you are, if you know you can provide things, if you know your software can provide things for them that theirs can't, then try to talk to that company and say, hey, you're doing XYZ, I do XYZ the same, but as well, I do A, or like, put it differently, you solve ABC problems and I solve ABC problems, so here we're doing the same, but as well I have D, I solve problem D, which you don't solve, and we both want the best for our customers, and I as well want the best for your customers. Why don't we do an affiliate partnership that they still do ABC with you, but then they do D with me, and you get like 50% of that, or you get the entire money I make from solving problem D for them for the first year. And then they go to their clients and say, hey, you know, Tim does the same we do, but he has this one extra feature. We made this deal with them that you don't have to switch completely to Tim, but we still want you to have this feature, but because we think it's really going to help you. So you can stick with our company and we still be your main provider. Nothing's going to change for you. You can just get Tim's stuff extra. And if I used me in the example, so if I'm extra smart, I'm gonna say that their client is gonna get a bonus, so he's gonna get that for 50% off. Let's say it's normally it's costing $1,000 a year, he's gonna get it 50% off for $500 a year, and the $500 are gonna go to the company who referred this guy to me. That way the company loves to refer people over to me because they make all the money on the first year. I get the client and I get to make all of the money after. And if I have new features, I can then sell them onto that as well. This is a bit more dangerous because like, don't try to, that customer you get, don't try to sell him out of that other company. Even you think that you could be better, because if you do that, if this other company realizes that all of the clients we send over to him for this extra thing, he like steals them completely for us and they completely do the switch, they're going to stop working with you. So yeah, be cautious about that. But then other affiliate partnerships that you can do with people who have the same audience as you, who maybe serve them in entirely different ways. I would say the same offer you can do. For any client you refer me, you get 100% of the money that is made up front, and then I make my money after that. Because like, you get these clients for free. You don't have to pay the ads. You don't have to make the marketing. You just have to say to that business, here's the offer. And this offer must be so good that they feel stupid saying no and say, okay, like, get all of my clients, take all of them. You're not taking them away from me. It's just an extra. I want to make that money on you. Here's all of the clients as well you can do. Here's my product. Sell this product to your clients at however much you want and take all of it. Take all of it. Sell them for a year on my product for however much you want, like minimum charge 2K or whatever to make sure that they're buying it at a legitimate price. Charge whatever you want, take all of the profit, send them over to me. I will do it for them. And after the first year or after this first payment cycle, after the first 3 months, the money they spend is then on me. Or you can upsell them to other products or whatever, but you need to get these clients. And if you can do any affiliate partnerships with companies that have the same clients as you, that's extremely huge. And make the offers as ridiculously good for the other company as you can, so you can get all of these clients. Don't do that, you get 20% bullshit. That's bullshit. Do it properly. In 2025, Oracle launched AI Agent Studio with over 50 specialized agents that could handle entire business workflows. The difference was mandatory. Instead of a chatbot that might suggest you should check the invoice approval process, Oracle's procurement AI agent would automatically validate supplier information, check policy compliances, generate purchase requests, and even process invoices, all without human intervention. Companies like Hearst saw immediate results. When Oracle launched OCI in 2016, they faced an impossible challenge. AWS was 10 times larger and had massive scale advantages. Traditional wisdom said Oracle couldn't compete on price. Larry Ellison disagreed. Instead of accepting higher costs, Oracle re-engineered their entire infrastructure stack for efficiency. They eliminated network oversubscription, implemented off-box network virtualization, and built dedicated GPU clusters optimized specifically for AI workloads. This way, Oracle could offer 50 to 65% lower pricing than AWS and Azure while delivering better performances. By 2025, Oracle's infrastructure efficiency had become an $18 billion competitive advantage. The breakthrough came from understanding that AI workloads had different requirements than traditional cloud computing. While hyperscalers built general-purpose infrastructure, Oracle optimized specifically for high-performance computing and AI training. This goes hand in hand with the first lesson we have of niching down, because in niching down, Oracle found that data centers for AIs needed actually lower costs, so that for serving this audience, they could cut their costs, while if they would serve everyone, they would have higher average costs. And if you if you know anything about economics, we know that we want to have our average costs as low as possible so that we can take a higher margin. So 2 birds with 1 stone. They could demand higher prices because they were specifically targeting one avatar, and they had lower prices because they found that this niche actually demanded lower prices to serve. Win-win, 2 birds with 1 stone. And I think the lesson here is not to compete on price. Most of us shouldn't compete on price. If we make our prices lower, oftentimes we're just going to lose the race. So don't compete on price. This is not the lesson I would take here. The lesson I would take is niching down isn't bad. And I know I said this before, I know I took a similar lesson before, but a long time throughout my business journey, I was afraid to make the decision to niche down because I thought I would leave so much money on the table. And I think, well, for the same resources, I can say I can serve more people. And this lesson is not really tactical advice, but more to get down the anxiety of actually niching down. You don't know specifically what is in that niche. If you know you can help this niche best, you found from your data that you can serve this niche best, and you niche down, then you might find that you can actually cut the average price lower, or that you can even cut all of your processes down so you save time while delivering the same results. You don't know what's in that niche. And niching down is always a better option than serving everyone. And so I wanted to have this as a last lesson to close the circle that all of this started and ended, because as you remember, the story was from 2025, with niching down. The riches are in the niches, and basically the playbook to business is choose one avatar, choose one problem they have, choose that problem entirely, and then once you have the entire solution to that entire problem, do as much volume as you possibly can, and even better, connect with other businesses that have the same customers, so you can just basically borrow them or take them from them. And take them from them is, I mean, take them as customers, not steal the customers from them. Okay, so here's the 4 phases of growth I found out from Oracle's example. So we started phase 1, foundation. Oracle's foundation story began with a single IBM research paper that Larry Ellison discovered in 1977. The paper described IBM's System R project and the complete SQL syntax, but IBM wasn't commercializing it. Ellison realized this was Oracle's opportunity. He built the first commercialized SQL database using IBM's published specifications. Working from a simple computer, Oracle's team built version 1 in assembly language, then made the crucial decision to rewrite everything in C language for profitability. So while everyone around them was focusing on specific hardware platforms, Oracle chose cross-platform compatibility from day one. This seemingly simple choice would enable Oracle to become the first database to run on mainframes, mini-computers, and personal computers. By 1983, Oracle had established the 3 pillars that would define their next 40 years: SQL standard compliance, cross-platform profitability, and enterprise reliability. So, lesson, if you're starting out, build it right from day one. The devil is in the detail. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try and be cute. Make the foundations. Make it simple, because simplicity scales. Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, they said famously, if something is too complex, they don't invest in it. There's probably some of the smartest people on the planet. If something is too complex, they don't invest in it. It has to be incredibly simple in order for it to be scaled, because as you scale anything, it becomes more complex. And if you scale something simple, it becomes complex. And as you scale something complex, it becomes impossible. So doing it simple, doing the foundations and the standards from day one is what brought Oracle to the top, and what's going to bring all of us, at least, like, to more money than we're doing right now. Phase 2, integration. By 1984, Oracle faced a new challenge. Client/server architectures were emerging, but most databases were designed for single machine operation. Oracle made a $15 million bet on completely redesigning their architecture for distributed computing. So Oracle version 5 in 1985 became the first relational database designed specifically for client/server environments. They introduced PL/SQL in version 6 in 1988, enabling stored procedures and server-sided business logic. The real genius was row-level locking, which was version 6, replaced table-level locking and enabled multiple users to modify different rows simultaneously. This technical innovation directly enabled Oracle's expansion into enterprise markets. By 1999, Oracle integrated hot backup capabilities, distributed database architecture, and enterprise security certifications, becoming the platform that could handle both simple queries and complex enterprise workflows. Meaning that this is really the start point, whether it's at like any cloud company, basically, we become the foundation for everything to be built on, which we discussed at length beforehand, so I'm not going to go deeper into that. But as well, another lesson here is you see how these versions came out. They came out 1984, 1985, 1986, basically year, these versions came out. Meaning that in the beginning, they were 10 years in here, but I'm still going to say, in the beginning, doing a lot of volume probably is your best guess. I would argue, from my experience, obviously I'm no billionaire, I'm not even a millionaire, but from my experience, from my 3 years in business, really not much money, but from the steps I took, the lesson I took, what I can tell you is that in the beginning, I think it's all about volume, and it's all about quantity rather than quality so much, because the more volume you do on the products you develop, and I mean how fast you develop them, on your marketing and everything, you're gonna put out that volume. So first off, more people know you, and then you have more data to develop this product, because in the beginning, all of it is guesswork. If you have no data on what clients like, on what works, then it's all guessing. Oh, this might work, this might work, this might work. But if you just do volume, you release version after version after version, and you just do volume on outreach and you do volume on ads to get as much out there as humanly possible, so that you can collect all of this data and see, okay, this works, and this does work not, and this works terribly, therefore this works really, really good. And these two things we can combine, and then we can take this thing out. You get all of this data so that you can make better decisions, and then you can get into quality and make it, okay, we know this data, so this shit works. And it is less guesswork. So this is another lesson I took from this phase. to do just volume in the beginning. So make it simple and then a lot of volume. Phase 3, scale. In the early 2000s, Oracle reached a critical juncture. They could either build every enterprise capability intentionally, internally, or acquire their way to dominance. Ellison chose acquisition, launching one of the tech's most aggressive consolidation strategies. Here's their scale strategy. Oracle spent $50 billion acquiring companies including PeopleSoft for $10 billion, Siebel for $5.8 billion, BEA for nearly $9 billion, and Sun Microsystems for $7.5 billion. Each acquisition wasn't just about adding products, it was about integrating entire technology stacks. The Sun Microsystems acquisition in 2009 was particularly crucial. It gave Oracle hardware expertise, high-performance computing, and capabilities and networking technologies that would become essential for their later AI infrastructure strategy. By 2015, Oracle had transformed from a database company into a complete technology stack provider, from hardware to applications. This vertical integration became the foundation for their AI era dominance. So this is basically what I was saying before, just at a high level. They were just scaling. They were buying companies left and right to develop as much of a monopoly and as much of a dominant market position as humanly possible, so that they can do just as much volume as possible and they had as much dominance over the market as humanly possible, buying competitors early so they couldn't arise to being competitors. This step is definitely more advanced with buying competitors, but I would say at a smaller scale, every investment that you can make into scaling is definitely worth it. And it might not pay off today, it might not pay off tomorrow, it might not even pay off next year. But every investment you make into scaling and into getting bigger, this is with making your product better, making your software better, making your documentation better, making your customer support better, making all of that seamless, and then doing more marketing and scaling, pushing all of that up. All of these investments are definitely worth it. And even if this means that you have to live on a lower budget right now, all the money you can put into scaling, do it. It will all pay off. It's like putting $1 in today and then getting $1,000 back in a few years from now. And even if you make a wrong investment, like in the stock market, right? You buy 100 different stocks and then over time, most of them go down actually, but a few go up, and the few that go up are worth so much more than the rest that goes down that you still make like huge profits on this, right? And this is no investment advice or anything, but I think in general, the more investments you make, the more will go down, yes, but the more will go up again, and you will never find this one star that went completely to the moon, extremely viral, unless you invest in multiple different things. So even if you're not entirely sure if this investment is going to pay off, still doing it, still investing into growth will ensure that you will grow. If you invest in nothing, you will not grow. If you invest in multiple things, sure, some of them might not pay off. Maybe even most of them might not pay off, but a few will. And making sure that you grow, the best way to do that is investing in growth and investing in multiple different ways to grow, because one of them will pay off at least. At least this is a lesson I took from this. And then phase 4, dominance. By 2020, Oracle faced an existential threat again. Cloud-native companies were building AI capabilities that could potentially replace traditional enterprise software. So instead of defending, Ellison chose to lead the AI infrastructure revolution. Oracle committed $100 billion to AI infrastructure, secured building permits for nuclear-powered data centers, and signed $455 billion in AI infrastructure contracts. The breakthrough moment came in 2024, when OpenAI chose Oracle over AWS for their $300 billion strategy project. This wasn't just a contract win. It was validation that Oracle had become the preferred infrastructure for frontier AI development. By 2025, Oracle's stock had gained 38% in a single day, which is the largest increase since 1992, and analysts projected Oracle's cloud infrastructure revenue could reach $144 billion within the next 5 years. Oracle had achieved something remarkable. They had transformed a legacy database company into the landlord of the AI revolution. This was a 1000% valuation increase. Okay, and here the circle closes with all of the phases they went through. The last phase basically is now they made it and they're the most dominant player in that area, which I think there is no specific last lesson here. It just shows they did all of these lessons before, And when doing all of these lessons, this is the level you can get at. $455 billion in backlog, $100 billion personal income for Larry Ellison within a day. Huge stuff. And with that, I'm gonna close this off. It was definitely the biggest project of a video I ever did, based on the recording, based on the research, and probably as well based on the editing my editor has to do now. Shoutouts to Ellen. So if you could leave a subscribe or like the video, send it to your friends, anyone who could find this valuable, I would really appreciate it, so that this work just doesn't go straight into a black hole and no one sees all of this. This was really a lot of work. So yeah, I appreciate every support that you can give this video. If you share your thoughts or whatever company you would want to see analyzed next in the comments, I will happily do that for you. And with these words, goodbye, have a nice one, and you can watch this video right now. Goodbye.